Hello, everybody. Welcome to Echo Underground. I am Shanique.
This is Mike.
And on this podcast, we talk about movies, music, and
whatever else you found interesting that day. We don't really have a pattern to this. I say something different every podcast now. I don't know if this is like a thing we're doing, but whatever we found interesting that day. We're winging it here. Let's go.
All right. So on today's episode, we're going to talk about the highly anticipated sequel to, I think, 2004? I want to say
18 years. I'm sorry, 14 years. Yeah, so it probably was 2004.
Yeah. 2004 movie Incredibles 2. So, alright, my grade. I'm going to give this movie an A. I'm going to give it an A in general because it's a great movie. It has a really good story. Everything makes sense, you know. I thought the characters got fleshed out more, and the family dynamics got fleshed out more. And I liked the villain. I thought the villain was smart, even though I predicted the villain, the identity, but I still didn't ruin the movie for me at all, you know. And then overall, I still think it's just as good movie as the first one. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure it's a better movie, but it's equally as good. So definitely a movie, and go see it. There will be spoilers though, so pre-warning. Go. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna also give this movie an A. Like, if it got anything less than an A, I'd be a little bit mad because it was 14 years that people waited for this. Like, kids who are probably around the age of 14 or so, or anything like, you know, in that general, like, you know, middle teen area, it's like you probably don't know what The Incredibles is. And probably don't even know what the hype about it is. So now you gotta
We were 11.
Yeah, we were 11, but I'm saying, like, you know, teenagers now.
Yeah.
They probably don't know what the fuck that was. So it's kind of crazy to me. Because I'm just like, that's kind of a big deal for Disney, guys. It's like, you know, you like this. I don't care how old you are. You gotta know, like, you know, a couple of them, like, you know, the Lion Kings and all that. Obvious Pixar.
I think Incredibles say no.
I mean, I would hope so. Cause,
on
you know,
reruns and stuff.
Well, yeah, I'd hope so, because, like, it's not a hard movie to see. But sometimes people see, like, you know, certain animated movies and, you know, realize when it came out, they're like, oh, that sounds like it might be in black and white. Like, no, we ain't that old. But movie, absolute A. I love that I'm not going to get into the movie too much. I love that it started off literally where the last movie ended. So there was no downtime for this family.
Yeah.
The movie ended in 2004 and picked up where they were in 2004.
Yeah.
I don't know if the year is 2004 where they're at, because they're still watching Johnny Quest on TV. But whatever. I ain't going to jump into that.
Hey, you know, reruns. Hey, I'm just saying.
Very, very possible. But yeah, I mean, it was a dope movie. Some new characters that I liked. They did a really good job, like, pulling things together. Frozone coming back was pretty cool. All the family was great. My favorite right now probably being Jack for this entire movie, because I feel like he had some show stealing moments at certain points. I will say I do like every character a lot in this movie. I don't think there's a character that I didn't like. Heck, I really like the villain because of how different they were from the first villain of the first movie. Because the first guy was like, you obviously knew he was a bad guy. That was from the start, and he was like an egocentric kind of guy. But this one is a little more low key, you know. Even though the movie picked up like 2 seconds after the last one ended, it feels like these two villains are from like two different eras. Like, one's a, you know, over the top superhero villain. I'm sorry, superhero gone villain, and this one's just like a.
Okay, was he really a superhero?
I mean, he idolized superhero. He wasn't really a superhero, but he idolized a superhero. And then this one is more of like a low key in the shadows, you know, working things in the background type of villain. So I don't know. Like I said, this movie, absolute A. All A's across the board. Glad I waited 14 years. I'm okay with, you know. I'm just glad that I mean, I'm not okay with 14 years, but like,
to say what?
it felt like the time was still worth it regardless. I'm glad they actually came back around and finished the product up, you know.
Yeah. All right. So we're not gonna get into spoilers. I want to talk about. So when you watch The Incredibles, at least in our screening, we watched in the Dolby Cinema, which was like really cool. It's not. I like the recliners and all that other stuff, but it kind of gave up like I want to say like a futuristic vibe to like movie theater a little bit.
Okay.
Because of like the designs on the walls, and we were in the back, so every time a crash happened, our chairs would vibrate. I think cause maybe the speakers were behind us or something like that.
I mean, they were all over the place.
They were.
They were like at least maybe 100 speakers in there or something, maybe more.
Yeah, I did not. I picked that because it was early, because we start at 10 a.m. Saturday.
Right.
And when this post is going to be Monday, so like 2 days from that. And I thought it was really cool. And one thing, we had a short before the movie.
Bao or BOA or BAO. I forgot which one it is.
Right. So I want to talk about that because I thought that was very interesting to open, like, the movie hasn't started yet, but you get this short where it starts off with this Asian woman cooking dumplings for her husband. And then as she's eating the dumpling, it comes alive. And me and Mike are like, the fuck is happening here? And then it basically shows the dumpling growing up, blah, 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 and eventually getting a girlfriend and then leaving. But then the mom's like, no, don't leave me, yada, yada. She eats it. The way I looked at Michael, I was like, It's kind of weird because she ate like her son. But then you turn out it was just symbolism for her real son abandoning her. And what did you think of that short?
I mean, here's my thing. I always assume Disney does some pretty dark shit in their movies these days. So like, apparently it goes into their shorts as well. I thought this short was going to be a dark ass mom short. And I'm like, well, that kind of set a tone for Incredibles, I suppose. But I mean, at the end of the day, it was actually really a really cute short. Cause like they showed like, you know, her raising the dumpling. The dumpling was like sprouting limbs and walking around, you know, go shopping with her, doing all the things like a nice son would do. But then, you know,
he grew up
like you've seen like, you know, plenty of times now in different stories about like the son growing up. The son, like, you know, wants to be so much of an individual that he's forgetting to love his mom. And then, you know, the mom really wants to keep that relationship alive that they had when they were children. But, like, you know, the son just up and leaves. So the part where, like, she eats the dumpling, I was just like, savage. Whole savage. Like, you ain't going nowhere. Now you're a part of me. But, yeah, it was cool. Like, you know, you saw the actual real son who actually looked like the dumpling a little bit.
It was on purpose.
I
yeah,
mean, yeah, I figured as much. But, like, yeah, I was like, oh, okay, I guess he came back. You know, the girlfriend, well, she was a nice girl. Like, you know, she learned how to make dumplings, too, from the mom. The dad, like, you know, shoved them to, you know, say hi to your mom. You know, she misses you, you asshole. Like, go in there and be good. But, yeah, I thought it was very sweet. Because, you know, they started rebonding again. Everyone started making dumplings. The girlfriend wasn't like some girl who was just trying to like take away the son, even that's how the mom saw it in the flashback, I suppose. But yeah, I thought it was cool. Cute little short. I love Pixar shorts. All Pixar shorts have never been cute to me or like funny in some kind of way. So this one was really nice.
I think you said that wrong. You said never been cute or
never
funny.
Sorry, never not been cute, but always, you know, been funny or, you know, cute in some kind of way. Sorry, but yeah, you know what the fuck I meant. Moving the fuck forward.
Talking about Mean Girls and lie. You just threw an F word for no reason.
Don't let me bring up the evidence, please.
Nope.
And I'm Fitness 1804.
Yo! Put my handle out there. Asshole. Anyway.
Wow.
Moving back.
Pause for just that? Okay.
Yes, we had to. We had to. I'm trying to. Anyway.
Oh, you done?
So, also, the actors try to apologize to the audience, saying, hey, we just had to get the script right. When in reality, they were not trying to make this movie for a while. But
didn't realize, you know what, they're bringing a lot of old movies like, you know, Toy Story and, you know, remakes like Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast and all these other things. They're like, hey, I think it's about time we give Incredibles a follow-up. Considering it kind of left on a cliffhanger, too. And this is, by the way, not just we can actually get into the movie now, a great way to actually answer a cliffhanger and turn it into a whole other story. Because, like, the way the last one ended was fine. Like, everyone got back, everyone, you know, got their superpower family thing going on. And then, you know, another conflict arises that requires all their help.
Yeah.
And then it actually moved on from right there. I'm like, not a lot of movies can do that or do it right. Like, none of movies do it in the first place or do it right. And I thought, like, this one almost mastered it. Especially since, if they really wanted to, they could still make an Incredibles 3. But we'll get into why.
Yeah. So, basically, now, you're at the part where we're going to get into spoilers. If you don't mind being spoiled, stay. And if you do mind, watch the movie and come back and see if you agree with our opinions.
Pause, literally right here. Take a couple hours of your life. Watch Incredibles. Come right back here.
Exactly. So, spoiler. Let's get into it. So, the movie opens, and the last one ends with what is the guy named? Coal miner?
The Underminer.
Underminer. Horrible.
I'm always beneath you, but no one is ever beneath me. I was like, what a freaking catchphrase for a guy. He looks like a mole man. But yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's done on purpose.
I know. I'm saying it.
And then it opens with that fight. So what did you think of that fight?
I thought that fight was cool because it's like, we immediately get to see the family fight together. However, it was a little weird because like everybody wanted to like, make sure the kids are okay, especially Jack.
I mean, yeah, that's a baby.
I mean, yeah, I know. I'm just
a baby
saying,
who's like OD, but
we'll get into that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was cool because like the mom and dad, they were putting in work. The Underminer actually, as corny of a villain as he is, actually did work. Like he was a successful villain.
He was smart.
Yeah, like
he looked stupid, but he was smart.
Took on all four of them. I'm not gonna count Jack, but took on all four of them, and with a big old drill mining machine on the ground. Dropped the bank under there, sucked up all the money, and Mr. Incredible 2. And then, actually got away with it.
Mr. Incredible 2?
No, he sucked up the money and Mr. Incredible TOO.
Oh, okay. I was like, what is happening? But yeah, that whole scene I thought was really cool. One, I like that they showed that Violet learned some tricks that we didn't know she learned. Yeah. She was able to do some cut things with her
shield thing, yeah.
What is her power called?
Psychic shield or invisibility.
Something psychic powers. Yeah. It's not telekinesis, right?
No, she can't make things float. She just creates shields and she can go invisible.
Yeah, and she could use her shields to do anything.
I guess I guess she shape the shields too. Like you just shape them and throw it. I suppose.
Yeah, I think so. I forgot what it's called. I've seen it before, but I forgot what the actual type of power is. But we saw her do that. Jack is pretty consistent, but he was still putting in work necessary. Mr. Incredible, I see why he's a high insurance policy. He's brute force.
Yeah.
He's kind of like like Superman who likes to punch people in the buildings.
Yep, pretty much.
Basically what he is. Elastigirl. I feel weird calling her a girl because she has children and shit. But Elastigirl, she showed how smart she was and how I hate to say it, she's probably the best if they ever determine a team leader for the family. Yeah, she should be the one to do it.
I agree.
Mom
was holding it down.
Yeah, Mom. This was her movie, to be honest. But the other family was there, but she it really showed why she was smart. And a capable superhero with or without her husband. And then Frozone came in. His wife, that would be killing me.
We still never seen her on screen yet, but she's an absolute character in itself. She only had the one interaction in the entire movie, but every time we hear of her, she's always saying some funny shit.
Yeah, she is. She's a little stereotypical, but she's still funny.
Let's get him a super suit. Damn, Samuel Jackson got things to do.
She trying to keep her husband alive. What's wrong with you?
He was alive. Did he die?
But he couldn't. He could have.
But did he die though? And the results is what count, man.
Okay, but she's one of those people the supers are illegal. That means my husband gets to come home every night.
Go to work.
Fuck that. I'm supported that law. Right. That's basically what she's saying. Well, it's my super suit. But at least she stopped hiding it, I guess. And then that was pretty funny. Frozone, to me, looked really cool this entire movie, but especially in the first scene. And he was the only one. So basically at the end of the first scene, they get caught by is it FBI? Just say police.
Yeah, police, sure.
And they're questioned, and they said, hey, we'd rather you not did anything, yada yada. Frozone gets away and meets the billionaire guy who's like, we want to bring the supers back into light. Mm-hmm. And then the other family loses their home and is forced to relocate to motel. And they only get 2 weeks, and then the relocation program for superheroes gets shut down because they're like, we no longer want to help you guys. This is it. And then this is where the story kicks off, because we finally get to meet, what's his name? The brother that Devin?
Yeah, let's call him Devin because DevTech. He probably is Devin.
Okay. The guy, I guess the CEO of DevTech, Devin. And he runs the company with his sister. I forgot her name too. Lord have mercy.
Mm-hmm. All right, we did terrible.
I knew it yesterday, but not today since we're recording on Sunday. But him and his sister invents it and he sells it. So he's the face of the company, but she's the brains behind the company. And they took over after their father. And so basically, he's like, my father would be alive if supers were enforced underground. And she said something which gave me a hint about her real beliefs is that, oh, they could have hid in the panic room or the safe room. And then he was like, we have different opinions on that.
Right.
But they basically meet with Mr. Incredible, Frozone, and Elastigirl saying, hey, we're going to use you three guys to bring supers into the light. But they started off with Elastigirl because, she is the least
damaging to public property mostly.
Yeah. Which makes sense if you think about it. Mr. Incredible power is brute strength. Frozone power is freezing things. Her powers don't really cause physical damage.
Right.
So it makes sense that but she's also the most calculating. Frozone and Mr. Incredible, in my opinion, are more reactionary. She thinks her plans through. But, so since causes the least amount of damage and the easiest to insure, she gets the front and center. And funny shit happens because he can't handle that.
Right.
Her husband can't handle that. But, before we get into that, all the rest of it, you said your favorite character is Jack Jack. Can you explain why?
Well, I sound like this is my interview here. Like, can you explain why Mr. Jack Jack was the best one? Anyways, after they go underground to do this whole thing with, supers being illegal, the mom is the only one getting recruited to do the work, like Shanique said. So, which released Mr. Incredible to do, or Bob, as you want to call him, to do all the mom and dad work at home, and he's having a rough time. Now, at the end of the last movie, you saw that Jack Jack started, sprouting superpowers, and Jack Jack gets like I think 2 fight scenes in this movie. The first one is against a raccoon. Now, this is probably one of the funniest fight scenes in the movie, and it's weird because Jack Jack almost looked like he already has a personality, which is kind of just like, I want cookies, one.
He shouldn't have cookies, though. He turns into like
a little demon baby.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird. But it's weird because the fight is very one-sided, but I think they just used the fight to show that Jack Jack can do all of this new shit.
Oh, that raccoon was still trying to.
I mean, he's trying to put in work. Right, that raccoon was not backing down like, yo, I'm digging through your garbage. You gonna let me have this? And Jack Jack was like, all right, bet. We're about to find out. So it's I can't really even explain the fight. It's a baby versus a raccoon, and I feel like you should figure out why your imagination probably can't really comprehend the intensity of that fight.
He is overpowered as fuck, though, because he can phase through walls. He can
multiply. He can shoot laser beams. He can turn on fire. He can make himself slick. He can go through walls. He can travel through dimensions.
Yeah, he can shapeshift. He can phase. He has laser beams through his eyes. He can travel through multiple dimensions.
Oh, and he has psychic powers. He can actually have telekinesis.
He actually does.
Yep.
And it's just like they said he has 17 different powers.
Yep.
That is ridiculous. Like you're gonna actually have to teach this baby how to use all 17.
Right. Which he's starting to get a head start on later on in the movie.
Yeah, he does. But yeah, Jack Jack was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Mine's kind of like my favorite character is Elastigirl because to me she was smart. She thought everything through. She didn't just accept it. Mm-hmm. She kind of did. You know what's funny? This movie, her storyline is kind of a repeat of what happened with Syndrome in the first one, Mr. Incredible.
Right.
He got a job opportunity, did all this stuff, but he did the opposite of what she did. She questioned everything. She was like, "Why is this so easy? Like, why are you just giving me this? Like, what's happening?" And I mean, eventually led to her getting in some shit. But she was very smart. She doesn't have the most. She has, if you're a Marvel fan, Mr. Fantastic. That's basically her powers.
Yeah.
But she used her powers to the fullest ability. One of my favorite scenes of her is the bike. Her first mission alone.
Oh, yeah.
Where she has a bike.
Oh, the train scene too, right?
Yeah, where she's trying to stop the train with her bike, and she uses her abilities to the fullest, and it works. And she has fun. She feels like, I think for her, she feels like, oh, I'm not just a mother anymore. Mm-hmm. But she really loved her kids. And I love how smart she was. To me, she had the most character development in the entire film.
I feel like the dad kind of did too.
Here's my thing. He
has to
still
get
had the
used to being-
same problem he did
from
the first
that's
film.
not- yeah, but
She
kind of
didn't.
opposite though.
I mean, no, it's still the same problem. His problem in the first film was that he needed to be the star, and he couldn't handle it because he was forced underground. This one, he needed to be the star, but he couldn't because they wanted his wife 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Same problem.
Yeah, but at least this one, like, he had time to like actually show that he could be a family man, and actually showed that he had to do it solo as well. I'm gonna give him credit because he was trying to. Oh,
He did try.
right, like
He did try,
I mean,
but
tried,
he still
failed,
had
and then tried and succeeded. Because he did have like a really hard time doing a lot of things wrong first before he came back around to it. But yeah, I mean,
He got ego. He has.
yeah, it was an ego problem there, but he did end up, like, coming around as far as like being able to hold the family down by himself. Like, he needed Edna's help, which, thank her soul, she's also another great character.
Aunt Edna.
Auntie Edna, right? She
Yeah.
was absolutely great. She ended up playing like a babysitter role in this movie, and she was great.
She helped him because, like, one thing she did was, why Mr. Incredible was smart with her because we could just talk about Edna. So she was pissed because Elastigirl new suit was
made by someone Gilbert Godbaki or Galbaki or
her
whatever it was.
competition basically,
Right.
and so she was in her feelings. And then Mr. Incredible was like, oh, the only time you really see her is when Mr. Incredible brings Jack Jack to the house. Because he's like, I can't with the baby.
Right.
He's not letting me sleep, and he's teleporting and shit all the time, and I
Right.
need him to, like,
Chill
go.
the fuck out, right?
Yeah, I need to sleep for at least, like, 20 hours.
Which she actually got.
Yeah, he did. And basically, he was smart because he knew that superpowers intrigue her. So she probably, you know what? She's definitely more than just a fashion designer. She's probably like a chemist or some shit because the way she has to design her suits to handle heat,
Right.
and not like normal heat, like combustible heat, and like all his shape shifting, his warping, and all that stuff. So she's more than what she appears to be.
Right.
But she's rich as fuck because her house is always amazing.
Oh yeah. They get paid.
Yeah, she gets paid. But he brought her over there, and once Jack Jack started using his power, she was like, "You can go. I got to study material."
Right. At first she was like, "No, I'm not no fucking babysitter. Get that shit out of here." Saw Jack Jack floating and doing all this weird shit. Like, all right, bet you get out of here. I'll keep the baby. Come back in the morning.
What? Okay, this may or may not be a plot hole, but like, why didn't they know he had powers?
It was in the first one before he developed. Like, he developed his powers at the very end of the first movie.
Yeah, but
the
like,
dad kept it to himself.
but like, remember the voicemails from like the girl where she was like, "Jack Jack is," and then she kept screaming. Like, isn't that a hint that your baby doing some weird shit?
I mean, you can see that, but I don't mean everybody else will see that.
No, I think they just chose to ignore it. Kind of like how they do with Stewie's talking sometimes on Family Guy. They just chose to ignore he was doing shit until they couldn't, because he was shooting shit. Like, he almost took, Mr. Incredible's heads off real quick.
Oh yeah.
But also when he like sneezes, he like flies off.
Yeah,
Like, what the
Yeah.
hell is that? He gonna be in school.
Right.
Like, how do you teach a baby or a child to control that?
Yeah, like, just don't get a cold. I'm sorry.
Don't get a cold. When he cough, breathe fire.
Right.
Probably. That's the worst part. Or like,
Or like the other guy, when he vomits, he's like just vomits like lava or magma, whatever the fuck it was.
oh,
Reflux.
ugh. That was just
A
silly.
couple other heroes in this one. Reflux, Brick, Crusher Man, or whatever the hell he was. Void, and
I thought it was just Crusher, but I could
maybe
be
it
wrong.
was. Maybe it was. And then there's like a static electricity guy. I forgot his name. Volt or something like that.
Volt, yeah, something like that. But yeah, Last Girl, The Truth. We touched on Mr. Incredible. I was like, sometimes when he was like bitching and complaining, I was like, what did she see in him? But then he has really sweet moments. I'm like, okay, I could see it. But he still had the same problem he had the first movie, but in a slightly different way. But he did try to step up for family, so I'll give him that. I'll give him that credit. But it's still a lot for one person to do, and I could see why he would get tired. Violet, let's talk about Violet. What do you think of her whole storyline?
Technically, the movie started off with her storyline. Started off with Dicker getting rid of what's his name, Tony's memory
Of her,
because she got caught with her mask off, which is
Because
kind of
she
like
took it off.
the old school Robin mask, like just like covers your eyes and your eyes alone. So it's pretty much like a Clark Kent Superman kind of thing, where like Tony saw her without the mask on, and he's like, "Oh my God, you're the girl I have a date with later on this week."
Yep.
So yeah, Dicker found that out, and that's pretty much her storyline here. But her not having him remember her, having this date canceled, she got her shit. Typical female problems going on with her. And then the dad tried to fix it by reintroducing them on like a weird impromptu date, but not really. Like they go to what's the name, Happy Waffle, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, like basically
IHOP, pretty much. They went to IHOP.
Yeah.
IHOP, and they went there.
No.
And they found out that he he works there, and she found that embarrassing.
I mean, cause only reason that she was embarrassed was probably the nose thing. Once she did that nose thing, so basically she was drinking water, and then he came up and said, "Hi, can I serve you?"
Yeah.
Right out her nose. Embarrassed immediately after that. Like, which I can understand why. And he remembered that too.
Yeah.
But, again, her storyline was low-key a repeat of the first one too.
Yeah.
Because once she lost, like, the guy didn't see her. Or tried, like, remember, she's like, oh, he freaked out by my powers, and now he's just acting like he don't know me.
Right.
And then when he when she figured out he was erased, she was erased from his mind, she was like, oh, I hate these powers, yada yada.
I renounced my...
For like 10 seconds, though.
Pretty much.
Because she low-key enjoys her powers, but, she kind of wants to be normal, too, and date.
Right.
But to be honest, she's probably going to have to date a person with powers. Or a person who's understanding of her powers. And right now, a high school boy ain't it. So she's going to have to be adult. She's going to have to wait till she's an adult, to be honest. But, and someone who's trustworthy, because we learned in this movie, everyone's trustworthy.
Right.
Dash, he was just a typical, I want to touch everything as possible, but because he's like super fast, you can't catch him.
Yeah,
you
he's
can't
always
stop.
hyper.
I mean, yeah, that's probably part of his powers too.
Mm-hmm.
And like he just run everywhere, touching everything. He breaks things. He tried, but sometimes it's useful. Just like in the first movie, sometimes this shit is useful here.
Mm-hmm.
His obsession with his dad's old car, the Incredible,
Right.
turned out to be useful, even though he needs to like read. Cause I'm pretty sure there's something on there that tells you what shit do. Like when he wanted to shoot the missile, I'm like, why would you want to shoot the
There
missile?
are people in that room. What the fuck, dude? That is a crazy person.
Dash is like on some next shit. Like you need to be like on a different level to handle Dash. And then what do you think of, who's your favorite new superhero we were introduced in this movie?
I mean, the only one that got any real time, which was Void, because she's kind of like a fangirl for Elastigirl, and her power is really cool. She makes like portals that go from, if you ever played the game Portal, you know what I'm talking about. She makes those kind of portals, like transport objects from one place to another, and I feel that's a cool power. So
you know what? It's funny. She has one of Jack's power, but she can't use it herself.
What?
Cause she makes little pocket dimensions and go through them.
Oh yeah. Right, pretty much.
And he can go into pocket dimensions and going out. I don't think she can actually put her. No, she was able to actually do that in her fight with Violet. She was able to put herself through a pocket dimension.
Was she?
Yeah, because she wasn't even near Violet. Violet was like on the other side. She heard her, and she walked through a pocket dimension right in front of Violet.
Well, she also creates a void on her end to walk through it.
Yeah.
Like no matter what, she needs two voids at the same time.
Yeah, of course. Like I mean, you have to get out though. Like it's the same thing as Jack. He has to be able to get out the dimension.
Okay, I might have been seeing something different then, because all I'm seeing is she needs two voids to transfer from one place to another place. A pocket dimension means you don't need any voids open. Like you just go to a different area of reality altogether.
I mean,
she only works within the same reality, just makes it like warp from point A to point B.
But you have to be like going through something to get to the other side, correct?
Yeah, but it's like okay. This is
so what's a void then?
A void. Okay, call it portal. Portal is pretty much.
But what's a portal?
What Doctor Strange did pretty much. Think what Doctor Strange made like a little circle and just walks through it, and you can see the other side. That's really you're making a door to a different location pretty much. It's not a different location period. What Jack's doing is a different location altogether. What Doctor Strange is doing is just you make a hole in the wall. And you walk through it, and you see your kitchen from like the highway or whatever you're doing.
But but here's my thing: is she can like create? Couldn't she just trap someone in there just by creating one?
No, you can't. She can't trap anyone anywhere.
Why not?
Because she's only working within her reality.
How do you know that?
Okay, all right. Maybe we're like I said. Maybe we both saw something different, but I'm just telling you what I saw. Jack is doing something completely different from what she's doing. Because she only does, like I said, what Doctor Strange does. Doctor Strange, when he does that little thing,
Yeah.
he's not trapping anyone anywhere. He's using it for mainly only travel, so you can't get trapped. Maybe you can close it on someone and cut them in half. I don't know how the power
But
works.
what I'm saying is like I'm talking about the in between. You're talking about the entry and the exit.
Yeah, there is no in between for
There
Void.
has to be, because where are you going through?
Okay, like I said, I don't know how to argue this because maybe we saw two different things. All right, I got nothing to go forward with right here. I ain't gonna lie to you, Shanique.
Like, okay, like all I'm saying is like they have to be traveling through something, because that's how portals or anything works. But like I said, we could just be seeing her powers differently. And who else? Crusher? No. Brick. I could not tell when I first saw Brick, was her man or woman.
Yeah.
And then Brick opened her mouth and I was like, oh, it's a dude with just really weird hair and eyelashes, I guess.
I thought Brooke was a girl.
No.
Well, maybe I'm wrong about that.
No, I guess we don't know. We don't know. Well, like, Brick had like the manliest voice. It could be a manly looking girl. I don't know. But I really thought it was a guy. But Brick Powers was like, Brick was stronger than Mr. Incredible for the most part when they were fighting.
Yeah.
But Mr. Incredible was smarter than Brick, and that's the only reason he won. And then you had the static guy, which I wish we would have saw a little bit more of his powers.
You're right. He had like one.
But you
line.
can't even touch him.
Yeah.
Which, how do you date if no one can touch you?
I feel like he turns it on and off. Maybe like after a while he powers down. I don't know. But then again, he had no screen time. He can't really read his powers too well.
Yeah.
All we know is someone, I think it was Let's Girl, she brushed up against him or something like that, and she got zapped.
It was Devin.
So we don't know. Oh, Devin, right. So we don't know if it's like always on or if he just had it on in that time or maybe it's his suit or whatever. Like I said, he had like 3 seconds of screen time other than when he was like fighting like a blind, because of Screenslaver, who we haven't gotten into yet, but we will in a sec.
And then there was Crusher, which he's stupid. He's like, why would you uncrush? And I was like,
do you unpunch someone? Like, what the fuck is you mean?
which is the true question. You don't unpunch someone. Once there, there. But like, you should think to like open. Like, he was dumb.
Well,
He was a dumbass.
maybe his power is to like make gravity really heavy in one location
Yeah.
instead of like opening up. Like, some people only have that one ability, so I guess that
Yeah.
kinda
Maybe
makes
his
sense.
abilities only go one way.
Yeah. And then there was Screech and Reflux. Screech is literally an owl who screams, and it looks like an owl.
He looks like a mutant. Like he
Yeah.
would look like something you see in X-Men.
Yeah.
And then Reflux? Yeah, the
Old
name.
man with acid reflux.
Which I knew his powers were gonna be like something to like come out of his mouth because he has a long chin.
Sorry about that.
He has a long chin like a toad.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured something come out of his throat. I figured that's what his powers was. But I thought all the new heroes were cool and stuff. I like that it talked about heroes around the world and how it affects them. So I thought that was pretty cool. But let's talk about the villain. Who was the better villain? Syndrome or Screenslaver?
Screenslaver by far.
Really?
Yep.
What makes you say that?
I think Screenslaver was a better villain because one, they weren't immediately revealed to the audience, and granted, you predicted it. Don't mean everybody else predicted it. So I'm going off of that pretty much.
Okay.
Two, their identity got.
But neither was Syndrome, though. Syndrome, you didn't find out until Mr. Incredible fought him on the island, which was almost at the end of the
Well,
movie.
there's also this other part in with Screenslaver where you thought you found out who Screenslaver was.
Who would buy that? But okay, let's pretend
They
they bought
did.
it. I mean, that's movie plot, but like it was
I'm
kind of obvious.
going by movie plot right now.
It-
Anyways, Screenslaver is a better villain because one, they Screenslaver had this little thing going on where like it's pretty much a vendetta against not only heroes in general, but kind of with Elastigirl because they're kind of like playing a little back and forth game. Because Elastigirl is like doing all this like more credit to Elastigirl.
I thought it was
too.
more towards humanity than Elastigirl.
It was not humanity. It was specifically villains. Because remember, at the end of the movie, and I can't say without spoiling who it is just yet. Let me just get it out of the way real quick.
Okay.
All right. So pretty much they're playing like a back and forth game with credit to Elastigirl, for doing her little Batman thing. Because if you ever played any of the Batman games, she kind of did something similar to that. So like there's like a little investigation going on about it. She kind of was the one to pick up also on the little clues about who the real villain was until the very last second. Screenslaver kind of played this weird little game where like nobody knew anything about. There were no clues about who they were, or even what they were doing for a while. Because even people who what they were pretty much doing was using screens to like use hypnosis on them and have them do whatever the fuck they want to do. Now, also the true identity was also under the villain's nose. I mean, the hero's nose the whole time, carrying Cipher Syndrome. And they were also working within like a main population, because Syndrome was kind of working on his own little like Death Island thing or whatever the heck it was. And Syndrome, he kind of went out like an idiot because his cape got caught in an airplane. So there was also, I just realized not a lot of heroes in this movie had capes. I guess everyone learned their lesson, but yeah. Anyways, there was also that. Also under the nose of everyone, their motivation was a little bit more realistic than Syndrome's, but I'm not gonna knock Syndrome's motivation though. Because this one actually had to do with, like someone dying because they depended on heroes. So I kind of got that. I don't know. I just feel like this villain was a little bit more fleshed out than Syndrome. Syndrome was kind of a typical villain. I hate to put it that way, but that's how he kind of came off to me.
Alright, so to me, I'm still going to go with Syndrome, and here's why. Syndrome actually surprised me. Because I did not think, spoiler if you haven't seen the first one, I did not think the little boy that idolized Mr. Incredible would turn into Syndrome. Like, they didn't touch on it. They didn't even hint at that it could be him. So I did like that. I thought it was more a surprise. I predicted Screenslaver quick. So that's why I was like. But to Michael's credit, the reveal of Screenslaver was actually was still pretty good. Mm-hmm. It was still pretty good. Even though I saw it coming, I wasn't really surprised. Like, I wasn't thrown off by the fake out. And, like, once Elastigirl said, oh, they must need a screen directly in front of them to control someone, then Screenslaver revealed themselves. She didn't really figure out who Screenslaver was. She just figured how they controlled the person that they set up.
If she had a couple more seconds, she'd have definitely figured it out, too. Because she realized, hey, the screen was showing what was on the camera you gave me. Because when I was in there fighting, we saw a screen in the background of what was displayed on my shirt.
I'm just saying she didn't.
Oh, no, I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying if she had a few more seconds, because she almost figured it out. Because there's a scene in the movie where she was fighting against a physical fake Screenslaver. And when she slowed down the replays, because she had like a little body cam on her, she realized that the body cam was also being displayed in Screenslaver's hideout. So
I agree. If she had a couple more seconds, she definitely would have figured out that Screenslaver was who it was. I'm just talking about, like, reveal-wise. She didn't even get the chance to do it. But, also, in my opinion, one thing I'll give Screenslaver was smarter than Syndrome.
Yeah.
Not, like, inventing-wise, but definitely in, like, sneakiness. And so, that's one hand, but in my opinion, Syndrome was more of a surprise. His motive was... Their motives look kind of similar, though, to me. Because it's like, his motive was like, Mr. Incredible...
Never accepted him as a hero, pretty much.
Yeah. And so he wanted to be the only hero, so he killed everyone else. He killed all the heroes. And Screenslaver was more broader in the sense that, like, she was like, oh... Well, I gave it away. But, they were basically saying, had my parents did this and not depended on heroes, then they would be alive. And then she also said, well, if humanity thought for themselves and also not depend on heroes, things would be better as well. We don't need heroes. And so she had that vendetta going on. I think their motives are kind of like basically saying they're similar but different. But only reason I'm going with Syndrome because it actually surprised me and the other one didn't. But storyline, they're about even to me. But I definitely agree that he went out kind of dumb. But it made sense for the first movie because Edna was like, no capes.
Right.
And then she kind of went out silly, a little bit silly. Because, like, she kind of did, what's the movie where we saw, like, the guy was shot out the window? It was, like, on Netflix.
Shot the window?
Not shot out the window. Like, they shot something, and the person flew out the window.
I mean, I know there's one where, like, someone's parachute went off, and they went out the window. But I don't know about someone. We saw a lot of movies on Netflix, guys. I seen a lot
no,
of
but I
people get shot
swear.
out the windows too. So
It's basically like they shot a hole into like I don't know if it was a ship or an
hell,
airplane.
they did that in Avengers too.
Yeah, and then she basically fought out, and then that was it. But to me, I would go with Syndrome. But I think they're both equally as good, and that's another plus for the sequel. So, anyway, Screenslaver in general, I think was very smart, very calculating. Was under your nose, and even though, like I said, I predicted it, I still was okay with the reveal. What I thought would happen, the reveal didn't happen the way I thought it would happen, and it happened quicker than I thought. But it also shows how smart they are. So yeah, I guess we should talk about what did you think of the boat scene? Because that's basically the climax and the end of the movie. So
now this scene was also cool because Screenslaver was trying to go less of like a straight up damage because I believe Syndrome, his plan was just sort of drop a whole bomb on the city.
yeah,
But Screenslaver was like, I'm just doing this for like a more like a political move by banding all superheroes together. I'm not just gonna like try and beat a villain and kill people. I'm strictly just after heroes and trying to make sure they no longer exist, like Shanique said. But yeah, the last boat scene I thought was very cool because it really required everyone. And the first movie pretty much just required the family. This movie required a bunch of heroes, a bunch of heroes getting control to come back to normal. It required because even Elastigirl and her what's name Frozone got control for a while, and Mr. Incredible, and it kind of depended on the kids to get the ball rolling there, because pretty much the fight was kind of in their hands for the first part of it.
Yeah.
Violet, Dash, and Jack Jack, which Jack Jack had another pretty couple funny things here too.
yeah.
Because apparently we found out here he had another power of size manipulation. He can just make himself really fucking big and like charge through metal walls. So there's also that going for him. He took out a couple of bad guys himself.
Yeah, I think his powers, honestly, are like manipulating his molecules. I think he can do that.
Maybe
That makes sense why he can like turn into like his body can heat up, why he can shift into that demon thing, why he can grow fucking huge.
Or just straight up turn to Edna because he almost did that.
Yeah, he can shapeshift. So yeah, he can manipulate every part of his body.
I thought that was cool too because like I said, everyone required like a part here because Elastigirl was going after Screenslaver. Mr. Incredible underwater trying to remove the rudder manually by himself. Frozone is like trying to break off one of the glides on the boat
To shift it.
to change it, and he's also he also made like a big ass ice wall for the boat to hit instead of like a building that it was on course for. And then Dash and Violet were kind of just doing their little kid thing, just fighting around and trying to keep Jack Jack safe. So everybody kind of was involved. Even a couple of the heroes we mentioned earlier with like Void and Crusher being under control. I thought that was great. I thought the fact that it was kind of high stakes because there's like also a lot of world leaders there signing an accord, kind of like a la Civil War kind of style. Cause they call them, I'm more saying it because they call them the Accord. But yeah, it was kind of like that, and I just thought the whole thing was cool, and it required everyone. It showed everyone's teamwork. They actually had like a lot of stakes there instead of just like random lives being lost, but like an actual political move to completely wipe something out. Hell, even the one-on-one battle with Elastigirl. Granted, this is the cartoony part that Shanique was talking about. She had like a little gas can, oxygen tank on her back because she went high altitude to make Elastigirl lose oxygen in her brain, and she started suffering from hypoxia. And I thought that was a cool move. I mean, last time I heard of hypoxia was 47 meters down, but we ain't gonna talk about that movie again. But yeah.
That was so intense. We ain't talking about that movie again.
But yeah, I thought everything went down really cool in a bunch of different places. Like, it was a lot of high stakes, because like, also it wasn't on like, like a little weird villain death island, like we've seen in plenty of like bad guy movies. Last one being like Golden Circle. So
I thought wasn't the last fight in the first one ended up in the city?
Well, yeah, but this one was pretty much all in the city. Like that, most of the action in that movie kind of came from the island, but this one was like in the city and the border of the city from the water, pretty much. So yeah, there was that, and I love the last scene. The last scene was pretty intense. I mean, granted, it's a Pixar movie, so I know they're gonna win, but you still feel tense, and it was pretty dope. And it helped that we were in shameless plug here. That Dolby Cinema really helped. The sound there had me actually looking to the back of the theater like, where that fucking crash came from? But yeah, it was dope.
Yeah. definitely. The climax and the ending of the movie was definitely dope. Still, my favorite part is when Jack got low-key saved the day by lifting the glasses, because he probably didn't like the glasses on his mom.
Yeah,
so
right.
like lifted off her face.
Hey, I can't see your face, Mom. What the fuck?
And basically, she was like, "Oh shit!" And then she basically started the ball rolling. But the whole sequence with her, working with Void to get up to the ship, and also working with what you call it, the kids and everything. Her finding out that Jack has powers, which was stupid for Mr. Incredible not to tell her.
Right.
Because she wouldn't have come home. She was excited to see it, but she would have still did her thing. And the climax in general was really good. I do think the villain wants the whole, like... Because, I don't know if we said it, spoiler alert, the villain was the guy's Devin's sister.
Right.
Yeah. It was kind of obvious. And Devin, him being... I don't know why I'm getting side-eyed, but him being, like, still a good guy helped the heroes out and helped stop the... what is it? The trance of the world leaders.
Yep.
So I thought that was cool. He's shown to be a really good guy, and she's like, and then when the villain got arrested, she was like, you know what? Doesn't mean just because you saved me doesn't mean you're right. Still stubborn as hell. But I thought that whole action sequence from when the kids got attacked by the house by the under control superheroes to the boat to when, you know, they stop the villain. Best part of the movie, which it should be. That should always be the best part of any superhero movie. Fighting the villain. Even if they lose. Infinity War. Even if they lose. Still should be the best part of the movie. So yeah, do you have any other thoughts?
No. I mean, other than Coal Miner getting away, probably setting up for another run-in with him, because...
I
mean, don't get me wrong, he's a corny villain, but for whatever reason, he keeps getting a leg up on everyone, and I'm like, that's a little weird that this corny-ass guy got away with robbing the bank. And his is really the only loose end in the story right now. I mean, maybe does Violet end up getting her love life back together? Does Dash stop touching things?
What I want then...
Does Jack control his powers? Sure, those are all like little small plots, but like, literally the guy got away. Like, that's what started the movie and ended the last one. Coal Miner, Underminer is really the biggest. He's really the biggest winner here because he's rich and committed the crime and got away with it.
Oh, that actually does. So, is that your prediction for Incredible Street?
Oh, absolutely. If they use him as a crutch for the last one to lead into this one, they'll definitely use him again in the next one.
Here's the thing: in Incredible Street, I want them to flash forward. I want to see Jack as a kid instead of a baby. I want to see Violet as older. Actually, I think for the next one, they should have it where the kids take over and the parents step back as the next one. Because that's my thing. I want to actually see the kids, like, really come into their own. I think Dash is supposed to be their version of the Flash. In a weird way. Like, I want him to, like, develop his, like, Flash powers. Maybe running back in time. Maybe do that whirlwind shit that Flash does. I don't know if Michael knows what that is.
Of course I do. I've seen this part of the show.
And then Violet, I want her to increase her powers. She reminds me of a mutant from X-Men, but I can't think of the name or the person. I can't think of them. But I want that to be the theme of the next movie. Because their parents are getting older. Their parents gotta be, like, late 40s. I feel like. Not late 40s, but, like, in their 40s eventually. So that's what I want the third movie to be about. The kids step into the forefront. Please, not the Underminer. That is a horrible villain to center a movie around. But, yeah. That's my prediction for Incredible Street.
You don't even gotta really center around him. Not maybe just.
Well, usually superhero movies have to have a good villain.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, technically he's a villain in this movie, but the movie didn't really center around him. But he was a pretty big plot point to start the movie off. Like, he's the villain that made the superheroes do their thing that ruined the city, and he got away. So maybe he comes back and actually gets caught. Maybe they make him look. Because granted, it's my opinion that they made a really corny villain have a really big plot piece. Granted, he was only in there for like 5 minutes. Pretty big plot piece to start the movie off. But yeah, that's just me.
Yeah, I don't want to see him again. But yeah, that's what I think they should do for Incredible Street. And also, don't wait 14 fucking years. I don't want to be seeing Incredible Street when I'm like 30 something.
Right.
No. Like, next 3 or 4 years, whatever. But also, I heard the guy who created Incredibles 2 and 1, he don't want to come back with a third one. So it'll be a new creative team too. So that'd be cool.
That's what it is.
Yeah, I think we covered everything. My suggestion is this was worth seeing in the theaters. I do not regret this, and I had a really good time. So definitely worth the watch. Michael, any closing remarks?
Nope, I'm good. I said everything I gotta say.
Okay. So, guys, hit us up on Twitter at EchoU Podcast. You can also find us on any social media site, including YouTube, Facebook, iTunes, and SoundCloud at Echo Underground Podcast. And then if you want to listen to us on your phone, we are on many podcasting apps. So just search for Echo Underground Podcast and you should be able to find us. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye.
See ya.